Hi, this is Jason Long with Long Talks Video Podcast, and I'm here with my wife, Brittany Long, and we are going to start our series, Season 1, Episode 2 of our discussion on relationships. And our topic tonight is going to be importance of communicating in relationships. And I'm going to open up a Pandora's box on this because I have so many issues that I need self-improvement on, but that's what we're here for. And if you hear a 3-year-old in the background, I apologize, but he's down here watching Dino Dan, and we're going to try and make it through this podcast as much as we can. So one of the issues, and I want to drive this topic of importance of communicating relationships, I want to drive it into the ground tonight. And one of my topics is keeping the fire burning, because when I met Brittany, we had 4 kids at the time. She has 2 girls, and I have 2 boys. Since then, we added what is now a 3-year-old who still, as of this day, sleeps on our bed. And it's, how do you keep the fire burning? When I first met Brittany, one of the things that I gave her as a gift for Christmas was a gift to Cooper's Hawk, where both of us, we get 2 bottles of wine. And my issue with that was, and not my issue, my purpose of that was to have a date night every month, that we would go up there and, we drink some wine and we would have a meal. Well, long story short, she ended up getting pregnant, and we ended up having 15 bottles of wine to pick up because we just never went up there anymore. And ended up, as of this day, canceled our membership to Cooper's Hawk. But it's, the first topic I have is, how do you keep the fire burning? Because, there's so many variables that go into a relationship, whether it's a marriage or whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, or what have you. But I know everybody's circumstances are different, but how do you, whether you're in a new relationship, whether you're 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, or whether you're married, how do you keep that fire burning? And I'm going to let Brittany go on from that, because I'm sure she has plenty to say about that.
I guess my biggest thing before you say keep the fire burning, is to have that communication between the 2 of you and have that positive relationship. Because if you don't have that, you can't do things to keep that fire burning. For example, being able to communicate without it being a negative thing, without fighting, without seeing the other one as a bad person or them doing something negative. Just to be able to talk that out and to put each other first. And yes, you always put your kids first, but before you're able to put your kids first, you need to put each other first. And I think that if you can't put each other first, then you can't have that communication to be able to parent those children, especially like the episode we had before with blended families. And parenting kids from a blended family, whether it be your stepchildren, who we don't call them stepchildren, we call them our own, but you still have that type of relationship, though. You treat them as your own, but you have to parent those children together, and you have to be on the same page, and you have to see that other person as a partner, not as an enemy. And once you make sure you have that, then you're able to do things like you've said, to keep that fire burning.
So there's a lot of groundwork to do before you even get to that point, and I get it.
Right, because that's the basis of your relationship. Once that honeymoon stage is over and you have those kids and you have to live real life together and you have to parent children, whether you're parenting a 3-year-old, whether you're parenting a teenager, whether you're parenting a 24-year-old, 13, 9, whatever the case may be, that's real life. And if you can't keep that going and have a positive relationship in that sense, then you can't do the date nights, you can't do the Cooper's Hawk, because you have to build that foundation first after that honeymoon stage is over.
Right, and you just knocked the honeymoon stage right out of. We just cross that right out of there. But that's how would you say, or how would you put, and I'm going to go off of what I have actually down here because I'll read what I have, but I'm going to revamp what I have is. How do you balance work, sports, what we do, entrepreneurship? I'll say it because we have probably 4 things that we have going on right now. So how do you separate, or how do you balance, your work, my work, dance, baseball, a 3-year-old, and 2 dogs. And I throw 2 dogs because our dogs are the highest maintenance dogs that you'll ever meet in your life. But how do we do it? The only reason why I ask this question is because when I talk to people at work, they ask me the same question. How do we do it, but yet still keep us in check? Us as in lovers, us as in husband and wife, us as in, we have to keep us up in order to keep our kids up. So how do we take care of ourselves on top of everything that we have going? And I'll tell you, my wife's work doesn't end at school. It comes home, and there is X amount of work that beyond when she comes home, that she brings home, that has to get done one way or another.
Well, I think you and I have some work on that, on that as well. I mean, how do we balance it? We do, but I think you and I need to concentrate more on us than we do. And, I think that's a work in progress. But again, in order to keep that fire burning, you have to be happy with each other.
Right. And I agree. So, beyond flowers, how does a woman, not just yourself, beyond flowers, how does a man show that you care? Because I've done, and I'm just going to go, and it's not big, it's not, God knows I ain't going to win an award for it. I've done sticky notes on lunch boxes. I've done sticky notes on your phone when you wake up in the morning. But beyond the typical flowers and teddy bears or whatever, what is important in a relationship, whether you're married or whether you're boyfriend or girlfriend, that a woman gets excited about, that, like me and you talk many times, it's not about the money, it's about
the
thought.
I don't think you can put a label on it. Every woman's different. I think it's important for you to know your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or husband, whatever it may be, their love language. If you don't know their love language and you try to show it how you want to show it, your partner's not going to be happy.
Now, hold on. Let's repeat what you just said. If you try to show it how you want to show it and not how she wants to see it, it's a failure. It is a failure. So
it is, because and you've got to remember that, but I'm doing this, I'm doing this, but not that it's not important and not that you want to downplay what they're doing, but everybody has how they want to be shown that they're appreciated or that they're loved or that they're thought about or, things like that.
And why is it so easy when, and I'll use us, when we first got together, why is it so easy when you first get together? Like, I don't know if it's like we're on audition or we're whatever
partially.
It is. And then now where it's just, we do it when basically, and I'll say it with us, when I get called out, I mean, you do, I love it. You call me out on it and I'm like,
Well, you don't love it at first.
Where's the damn sticky notes at? Where's the sticky notes in the magic marker at? You know, and I do, and you know, I love to do it, but we fall into that comfort zone, cushion zone, whatever you want to call it, and we lose track of it. And for us, it's no excuse. We have a lot going on, but it's easy just to get up in the morning and to. I know what my role is when I get up in the morning. I mean, you could write it to a T as far as what my procedure is in the morning. I don't call it a procedure. I do it because it's what I do and it's what we have to do to get through our day. But I think we're unique as far as we have a full plate to begin with, and I feel like it can only get worse versus getting better. But then again, I feel like if I put a sticky note in your lunchbox, you got so much shit going on that you're gonna be like, oh God, he's just okay, whatever. You know, I just feel like it's almost it loses its luster because I've done it before and I try and think of new things, but I can only draw so many different characters in so many different ways that you don't want it to lose its luster. It is a man.
But you don't have to do it all the time. It's that every once in a while surprise that is what matters.
But I like to do it. And believe me, I know you keep everything. You keep, and I look, and you know, if I open a drawer to put something away or whatever, I see the notes. So I know it's important to you that I do it, but it's just and there's no excuse in the amount of time that we have and it's not just the morning, but the morning is when there's, believe me, it's the most chaotic time, but it's the most chance that I have to make an impression on your day. Mm-hmm. You know, and I do it, and for everybody that knows, I don't do flowers. I don't care. I'll take it to my grave. I've done it, I think, twice in my past. I'm not a big person on flowers. It's not all about me. I understand that. But I'm a big sticky note person. I like to make people laugh. I like to do corny jokes or whatever. And that's where it's at. But
I'm going to go back to your question between what's the difference between the honeymoon stage and now.
Okay.
Reality.
Right. Right.
I mean, reality.
That's what it is. It is. That's a perfect.
But you can continue that honeymoon stage by supporting each other, by listening, not just hearing. Two different things. Listening, showing in conversations that the other person's ideas matter, and that you care about what they're saying, you know, and that, you know, if they say something you don't like, you don't have to turn it into a huge blown out argument. And I think, like I've said before, I think the biggest thing with divorces is that people assume things and they turn their partner into an enemy instead of their partner. And I think that's the biggest thing with communication and where people go wrong in relationships. I will take that with me till the end, that I think those two things are the biggest things, is making assumptions before knowing, and then turning their partner into an enemy when they don't need to be because of assumptions or not listening, only hearing. And I think, like I said before, I think that's the biggest thing, to keep that honeymoon stage, to keep that fire burning, to be able to do that date night. Because if you're not happy, you're not going to have fun on a date night. You're not going to keep that fire burning if you're not happy. And I think that's where the happiness in a relationship starts, is through support and appreciation and communication.
But now through, say what you just said again, the last thing that you just said, through appreciation and...
Through appreciation, support, and then communication, which allows you to show that appreciation and that the support. Sorry.
But there's a lot of times where there's a big gap between what a man perceives as communication and appreciation in how a woman interprets appreciation and communication. And I think that's where, because I could sit here and I could say that XYZ, PDQ, whatever, and you take it as a totally different route, to where the way a man interprets stuff and the way a woman interprets stuff, you're not on the same page all the time. And I think that's where a total miscommunication, a breakdown of dialogue happens between the two. And I think the longer you're together, and tonight's a perfect instance, you know, we had a knockout drag out upstairs, you know, and we come downstairs and I'm like, hey, let's hash this out. And once both parties will sit there and, you know, cooler heads prevail, and we sit down and we say, okay, what is this really about? And you can get down to the core of it, and I'm to blame. Once you get down to it, and you're like, what the hell are we freaking arguing about? What, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and you will, and for anybody that's listening on this podcast, I don't care who you are, that, hold on one second, guys, is that if you want to sit there and you want to throw out that you're not in our shoes, you're a damn liar. Because by the time we got down to it tonight, I texted my wife. I said, hey, come on downstairs. We need to talk about this. And we got down to it, and I was to blame because we were arguing over something that we totally agreed upon. We did. I mean, am I wrong? You're looking at me like, what the hell did we just argue about? And I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. I totally agree.
Because you assumed something and didn't allow me to continue to explain the situation, and you assumed that I was saying something that I wasn't saying. And I think that's the part that I'm talking about. Yes, men interpret things different than women. You are 100% correct on that, but it's how you react to the other person is what is important. I think reactions to things are what get a lot of people in trouble. It's what teenagers get themselves in trouble for. It's what husbands a lot of times get themselves in trouble for. I think it's that it's the reaction to it, instead of stopping for a second and being like, okay, this is my husband, this is my wife, I love them. I don't think they're trying to be bad or not do what they need to do. But then again, it's the other person's job to listen, okay? If you think I'm not showing appreciation, but you're saying, well, I'm doing this, this, and this, okay, well, you need to listen to how that person wants to be shown that appreciation. It could just be simply, I appreciate you. You know, it could be...
Now, hold on. You guys are not always that... It is not always that simple.
I understand that. And I'm saying it for both. It's 100% your reaction. You cannot overreact or assume. And then that's where the fights, the arguments are becoming, or if you become defensive, things like that. And that's where the communication breakdown, that's where a lot of times it lies, because you can't keep, not you, just a person in general, can't keep themselves cool to sit down and be like, hold up.
You can say me.
You, okay.
I got no problem with that. No,
I love you. I want to talk this through. And the problem, one of the things too, is you can't just brush things under the rug. You've got to be able to face negative situations so that they don't get worse. And situations aren't going to...
I want to just pause for 1 minute. And do you hear an echo on me?
No.
It's just my mic. Okay. We ain't even edit that out. For people that are listening to this, I would love a response back to why men in general, or if there's women that like to do it, one of the things that we deal with is that I like, depending on what it is, even if I screw up, there's times where you don't want to talk about it. And huge mess ups, yeah, you need to talk about it. You need to own up to it. You need to whatever. But the smaller things to a guy, I mean, bigger things seem small to us. We like to brush under the rug. And that's where me and Brittany, being transparent, and that's why we're doing the podcast, one of our big things is I like to brush stuff under the rug when it's not a huge thing, because to me, we have my dad, one of the things he always told me, pick your battles. And I always tried to brush the small stuff under the rug, but it seems like to women, everything is a
well, it's not that it's a big deal. It's that we want, like, let's just say if you've done something wrong or you've hurt us, we want to know that you understand that. It's not that, you know, we have to have a huge hour-long conversation in regards to it, but just something that says you get it.
You own up to it.
You own up to it, and you get it, and you've worked through it. Because if you don't, yeah, there's certain things you can pick your battles on, but there are certain things that you can't. In a relationship, you can't let things build on top of each other, and that's what ends up happening. In our case, for example, is you want to keep brushing things under the rug, or you don't want to talk to it, whether it be me or whether it be the kids. And then for me, it builds up, it builds up, it builds up, and it builds up to my head wants to explode. And that's literally what happens is I then kind of take it out on everyone, because I'm so fed up of something that hasn't been fixed because it keeps getting brushed under the rug, or it never gets talked about, whether it's between us or whether it's between us and our children. You know, something that I see that needs to be fixed, you know, and that's the biggest thing with communication. And again, back to our very first topic, when you can't do those things and you have things that are building on top of each other, you can't keep that fire burning. Unfortunately, it's not possible, because if you have things getting in the way of your relationship, you're just, it's not going to happen. You know, you have got to work on those underlying things, or the basis, which is communication in all aspects, whether it be talking, physical, whatever the case may be. That communication is 100% important to be able to do the different things that you have, you know, on your list of, you know, the keeping the fire burning, doing the date nights, doing the flowers and things like that.
So there's a statistic, wow, that I want your opinion on, that says 56% of men that cheat on their spouse or their lover, whatever you want to call it, 56% would still want to reconcile their marriage or their relationship, where when a woman cheats on a man, that they have 100% checked out and that they are done.
Well, I think it goes along the lines of, again, communication. I think a man probably has tried to communicate something that he's unhappy about, and then just goes out and seeks somebody else to try to find out if the grass is greener on the other side, and almost kind of prove to his wife that, you know, he may try to be getting something from somebody else that he may not be getting from his wife, to whereas a woman has probably tried to communicate over and over and over and over again, to where by the time she's communicated how many times of what she's unhappy about, at that point she's done. You know, she's tried, she stayed loyal, and then all of a sudden she's done. Again, this is 100% my opinion, not proven, not a statistic. I just feel like that's more of the case, that a man is just quicker to go try to find something else, to whereas a woman has tried and tried and tried, and then at that point she's given everything she's had.
But it is proven, because if you go back to everything that we've talked about on the topic of what you said, the importance of communication, to where if a man listens to what his wife is saying, we're not going to get into love language. I mean, ain't doing that because I don't do the whole damn love language. But
it's necessary, though.
It is, and that's another topic, and that's something that I need to improve on. But active communication, where if you are listening, and I think the next topic, which we're not going to get into, is the communication skills, which is, with me, I'm big on, when I don't say something and I shut down, you know that something's wrong with me. Mm-hmm. Versus you, I know what your communication is when I know something that's wrong. So leading up to, and this topic isn't about cheating or anything else, but it's a statistic. Wow, why is that word so hard tonight? It's a statistic that if your communication isn't there, and you don't understand both your partner's love language, you're not active listening. And I say active listening because, like Brittany said, you hear me, but you're listening, but you don't hear me.
Right.
Vice versa, whatever you want to call it. And it's about listening, and it's hard. It's hard. I mean, for us, with everything going on, I'm the first one to say okay, and I'm like, what the hell did you just say to me? Because it is. There's just so much that goes on in a family itself, to where not listening to the other person is just like it almost becomes a habit. And I say, anything you do for 30 days becomes a habit. And I am horrible at listening. I am horrible at listening. And I think that could be another podcast that we build up on, is how to be a great active listener. But for people that are listening to our show today, we try to bring realness and open ourselves up. And
at this time, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up our season 1, episode 2 on communication and relationships. We are going to continue this talk on communication and why it's important in a relationship on episode 3, because it is the foundation of a relationship. And again, like we were talking about earlier, is without communication, without that foundation, nothing else can happen in a relationship. So at that time, we will continue our talk and maybe even have another couple join us and talk about their importance of communication in their relationship.
And once again, we want to thank you for joining the Long Talks video podcast. And our relationship series is, as you see behind us, talking it out. And that's exactly what we're doing, being 100% transparent and trying to help other people and other couples that have similar issues and talking it out. So once again, and
don't forget to like Doodle Delights Doggy Bakery on Facebook. Join our group for our all natural dog treats.
Yes, exactly.